All right, let's dive into some carpet cleaning knowledge. Looks like we got some excerpts here from Advanced Carpet Cleaning Technician, a whole manual written by industry pros, even has the stamp of approval from the Institute of Inspection Cleaning and Restoration Certification. We're going to try to unravel the mysteries of different carpet fibers, the chemistry behind all those cleaning solutions, and maybe even some of those tricky carpet cleaning challenges you might face out there.
Think of this deep dive as your secret weapon for tackling any carpet cleaning situation. You'll be ready for anything.
Yeah, exactly. Let's kick things off with the basics. Fiber types. The manual points out that natural fibers are less common now, but they still pop up and require, a special touch.
Absolutely. Like wool, for instance. It's like a sponge. Easily absorbs liquids. Needs a gentle approach when cleaning. Low pH cleaners. Soft touch. No harsh scrubbing.
I've heard of this felting effect with wool. It sounds kind of ominous.
It can be, if you're not careful. Imagine the wool fibers having tiny scales. When you use the wrong cleaners, those scales interlock, and you get this matted, slimy-looking mess. Not exactly the fresh, clean look we're going for.
So treat wool carpets like a fine cashmere sweater. Delicate care is key. The manual also mentions wool is a favorite snack for insects. Prolonged sun exposure can really do a number on it. What about silk? I imagine that's even trickier.
Silk is actually the strongest natural fiber out there, but it watermarks so easily, and it's super sensitive to alkaline cleaners, even perspiration.
Wow, even sweat can damage a silk carpet. Talk about high maintenance. The manual then moves on to cellulose fibers, like cotton and jute. Browning seems to be a common issue there.
Yes, and alkaline cleaners can exacerbate that. This is a great example of why understanding the pH levels of your cleaning solutions is crucial, especially when dealing with these more sensitive natural fibers.
It's like having a whole chemistry lab in your cleaning toolkit. Now let's shift gears and talk about synthetics. The manual explains that many are made through extrusion, basically squeezing liquid polymer through a tiny hole to create the fibers.
Pretty cool. And from there you get different types. Staple fibers, which are shorter pieces, and continuous filament fibers that are, well, one long strand.
Like the difference between a chopped up rope and one long continuous piece. Makes sense. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of specific synthetics. Nylon, for example, has gone through several generations.
It has. Each generation gets a little more sophisticated. Later generations of nylon are much more stain-resistant, thanks to fluorochemicals, acting like a shield, repelling both water and oil-based stains.
So it's like nylon has its own built-in ring to it. The manual mentions that nylon has a strong attraction to acid dyes, almost like a sponge, and that you should always clean it with a pH of 10 or less. What's the reasoning there?
Well, using a high pH cleaner on nylon can actually strip away those stain-resistant treatments, making the carpet more vulnerable to future stains. Plus, keeping the pH low helps prevent damage to the fibers themselves. It's all about working with the chemistry of the fiber, not against it.
Got it. Moving on to olefin, the manual highlights its incredibly low absorbency.
Which is a double-edged sword. It makes olefin naturally resistant to water-based spills. But oil-based stains are a different story. Those can really cling to olefin. And here's a crucial point. Olefin has a low melting point, only 325 degrees Fahrenheit. So high heat is a definite no-go when cleaning olefin carpets.
Good to know. I'll be sure to keep my heat guns far away from any olefin. What about polyester?
Polyester is a workhorse, durable, resilient, can even be recycled. One thing to keep in mind is that polyester has an affinity for oil, so those oil-based stains can be a bit more stubborn to remove.
And lastly, we have Triexta, the new kid on the block.
Triexta is fascinating because it combines the best of both worlds, boasting properties of both nylon and polyester. It's marketed as being super stain-resistant and incredibly durable.
Okay, so Triexta is like the superhero of carpet fibers. Now let's move on to the vibrant world of carpet dyeing.
Before we jump into the different methods, it's important to understand some color basics. Think back to your primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. They're the building blocks for all the other colors we see in carpets.
Right, and then there's the topic of brighteners. I've heard they can make carpets look amazingly bright, but the manual mentions they can void warranties. What's the deal with that?
Optical brighteners are added to carpets to enhance their vibrancy. They work by reflecting blue-white light, making the colors pop. However, some manufacturers see them as masking the true color of the carpet and might void the warranty if they're used.
So it's best to be aware of the manufacturer's recommendations before using any brighteners. The manual then breaks down the actual dyeing methods: solution dyeing, stock dyeing, yarn dyeing, and piece dyeing. Can you walk us through those?
Absolutely. Solution dyeing is like dyeing the fibers from the inside out. The color is added to the liquid polymer before the fibers are even created. This makes the color incredibly resistant to fading and even bleach. It's most commonly used with olefin.
Wow, that's impressive. So the color is an integral part of the fiber itself. What about the other methods?
Well, with stock dyeing, the raw fiber is dyed in a big vat before being spun into yarn. It ensures a nice, consistent color from batch to batch. Yarn dyeing involves dyeing the yarn before it's woven or tufted into carpet. And finally, piece dyeing is where the dye is applied after the carpet is already constructed.
It seems like with all these different dyeing methods, there's a lot of room for things to go wrong.
Definitely. The manual goes into detail about troubleshooting common issues, like color loss, uneven printing, color transfer from rubbing, which is called crocking, bleeding, fading, and even damage from ozone.
Ozone damage, what exactly is that?
Ozone is a gas that can react with certain dyes in carpets, particularly a type of yellow dye, causing them to fade over time. It's like the carpet is slowly losing its color due to exposure to air pollutants.
It's amazing how many factors can affect the appearance of a carpet. The manual also briefly explains metamerism, which sounds like a pretty complex concept.
It is, but it's important to understand, metamerism is when a carpet appears to change color under different light sources. Imagine seeing a carpet in a showroom under bright fluorescent lights, and then it looks totally different in your home under soft incandescent lighting. That's metamerism in action. It's crucial to keep this phenomenon in mind when assessing a carpet's condition and explaining any perceived color variations to clients.
It's like a carpet chameleon. Speaking of construction, let's move on to how carpets are actually made. The manual differentiates between woven and tufted carpets.
Woven carpets are made on a loom, with yarns interlaced to create a strong, durable fabric. Think of it like weaving a tapestry. Tufted carpets, on the other hand, are made by punching loops of yarn through a backing material. It's a faster and more cost-effective method, which is why tufted carpets are much more common these days.
The manual mentions gauge and stitch rate as indicators of carpet quality. Can you break those down for us?
Sure. Gauge refers to the spacing between the needles that punch the yarn through the backing. The closer the needles, the higher the gauge. And generally, the denser and more durable the carpet. Stitch rate, on the other hand, measures the number of tufts per inch. A higher stitch rate also usually means a denser and more durable carpet.
So it's all about how tightly those yarns are packed together. The manual then delves into backing materials, highlighting the fact that polypropylene is now the go-to choice. What are the key things to know about polypropylene backings?
They're generally very durable, but they can be prone to shrinkage, particularly when exposed to high heat or certain solvents, and they also have a tendency to brown over time. A key takeaway from the manual is to be extra careful with solvent spotting on olefin backings. If a solvent gets trapped under the backing, it can cause delamination. That's when the layers of the backing start to separate.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster. And finally, let's talk about carpet cushions. There seem to be quite a few options.
There are. You've got your bonded polyurethane, your chemical bond, waffle rubber, even hair and jute cushions. Each has its pros and cons. But the manual emphasizes two common concerns: shrinkage and mold growth. Choosing the right cushion for the specific application and environment is crucial to prevent these issues down the line.
Okay, so we've covered the foundations, fiber types, dyeing, and construction. Now let's get into the heart of the matter, the chemistry of cleaning. What does the manual say about that?
Before you even think about solutions and solvents, the manual stresses the importance of a thorough inspection. Think of yourself as a carpet detective. You need to identify the fiber content, assess the level of soiling, and look for any potential red flags, like stains, damage, or previous cleaning attempts.
Like gathering clues to crack the case of the dirty carpet. What comes next in our investigation? So we've gathered our clues. Now it's time to choose our weapons, the cleaning solutions. The manual breaks down the difference between solvents and detergents.
Yeah, it's like choosing the right tool for the job. Solvents work by dissolving substances. Think of it like nail polish remover, dissolving nail polish. Detergents, on the other hand, break down dirt and grime and suspend them in water, allowing them to be rinsed away.
So if the solvent is like a powerful laser beam targeting a specific stain, a detergent is more like a gentle way of washing away dirt. And soaps, I'm guessing those fall under the detergent category?
Exactly. Soaps are a classic example of a detergent. Now here's where it gets interesting. Surface tension. The manual explains that surfactants, which are key ingredients in cleaning solutions, work by lowering the surface tension of water.
Okay. I'm going to need a little help on that one. What exactly does surface tension mean, and why is it important for cleaning?
Imagine a water droplet beating up on a freshly waxed car. That's surface tension at work. It's like an invisible film that holds the water molecules together. Surfactants break down that film, allowing the water to spread out and penetrate more effectively.
So it's like the surfactants are giving the water superpowers to infiltrate those carpet fibers and loosen up the dirt.
Precisely. The manual even gets into something called dyne ratings. That's a measure of surface tension. Different fibers have different dyne ratings, meaning they require varying levels of surface tension reduction for optimal cleaning.
Fascinating. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to cleaning solutions. The manual then goes on to discuss chemical charges, anionic, non-ionic, and cationic. It gets a bit technical here.
It does. But understanding these charges can help you choose the right cleaning agent. Anionic cleaners have a negative charge. They're great for general cleaning. Think of them as the workhorses of the cleaning world. Non-ionic cleaners, as the name suggests, have no charge. They're often used in pre-treatments to help loosen soil before the main cleaning. And finally, you have cationic cleaners, which have a positive charge. These are commonly found in fabric softeners and disinfectants.
So it's like a cleaning agent power trio, each with its own unique set of skills. The manual then dives into the concept of pH, which can feel a bit intimidating.
Of course. pH is simply a measure of how acidic or alkaline a solution is. The scale goes from 0 to 14, with 7 being neutral. Think of it like a power meter. The further away you get from 7, the stronger the solution becomes.
So a pH of 1 is super acidic, a pH of 14 is super alkaline, and a pH of 7 is right in the middle. Makes sense. But how does this apply to carpet cleaning?
Well, certain fibers are sensitive to high or low pH. Using the wrong pH cleaner can damage the fibers or even set stains, making them harder to remove. For example, wool, remember how delicate it is, needs a slightly acidic cleaner, around a pH of 5 or 6 to prevent damage. Nylon, on the other hand, prefers a pH of 10 or less.
So knowing the ideal pH for each fiber type is crucial for achieving optimal cleaning results and avoiding any mishaps. And finally, we come to the TCT principle: time, agitation, chemical action, and temperature.
TCT is like the golden rule of carpet cleaning. It emphasizes that effective cleaning isn't just about using the right chemicals, it's about applying them correctly with the right amount of time, agitation, and temperature. All these factors work together to loosen and remove soil effectively.
That's a holistic approach. Time to let those cleaning agents work their magic. Speaking of cleaning, the manual outlines 7 essential steps for successful carpet cleaning.
It all starts with a thorough pre-vacuum. This is like sweeping before you mop. You want to remove as much loose dirt and debris as possible before applying any liquids.
Next comes preconditioning, which sounds a bit like a spa treatment for the carpet.
It is. Preconditioning involves applying a cleaning solution to loosen and break down soil before the main cleaning. And agitation is key here, whether you use a brush, a rotary machine, or a CRB. The goal is to work that preconditioner into the carpet fibers.
After that comes the main event, the actual cleaning, followed by rinsing to remove any residue. Then we have spot and stain removal for those stubborn troublemakers.
And don't forget grooming. Grooming the carpet after cleaning helps restore its appearance and lift those fibers back up.
Like fluffing the pillows after making the bed. The final step, and perhaps the most important, is drying.
Absolutely. Proper drying is crucial to prevent mold growth and ensure the carpet feels fresh and clean.
Okay, let's dive deeper into those specific cleaning techniques outlined in the manual. First up, we have the absorbent compound method.
This method is like using a dry shampoo for your carpet. You apply an absorbent powder to the carpet, work it in, and then vacuum it up, along with the soil. It's a good option for light soiling or areas that need to be dried quickly.
Then there's dry foam cleaning, which sounds a bit like giving the carpet a bubble bath.
Exactly. A dense foam is applied to the carpet, worked in, and then extracted with a vacuum, like the absorbent compound method. It's relatively dry, good for carpets that need to be back in use quickly.
Next, we have shampoo cleaning. I'm picturing sudsing up the carpet like washing my hair. Is that accurate?
Sort of. Shampoo cleaning uses a foaming surfactant and alkaline builder that's applied to the carpet and agitated. After the solution dries, it's vacuumed up.
And what about hot water extraction? Is that the same as steam cleaning?
Yes, hot water extraction is often referred to as steam cleaning. It involves applying hot water and cleaning solution to the carpet under pressure, and then extracting it, along with the soil, using a powerful vacuum.
This seems to be the most widely used method, and the manual mentions it's the method preferred by most carpet manufacturers.
It is very effective for removing heavy soiling and deep-seated dirt. And finally, we have encapsulation cleaning, a newer method that's gained popularity in recent years.
The manual describes it as using polymers to encapsulate soil particles, making them easier to vacuum away. It sounds a bit like magic.
It kind of is. Encapsulation cleaning offers faster drying times and often leaves less residue behind compared to other methods.
The manual includes a helpful chart comparing these different cleaning methods, looking at factors like cost effectiveness, drying time, residue concerns, and fiber compatibility. It's a great resource for choosing the best approach for each situation. Now, let's move on to the troubleshooting section. I'm sure we've all encountered our fair share of carpet cleaning challenges.
Absolutely. The manual covers a wide range of issues, starting with matting, abrading, and crushing, which essentially damage the carpet fibers.
Matting is when the fibers get tangled and compressed, right? Like a bad hair day for your carpet.
Exactly. Abrading, on the other hand, involves damage to the surface of the fibers, making them look dull and lifeless. And crushing is when the fibers are flattened, altering the carpet's texture.
The manual mentions using fillers to repair scratches. Is that a common practice?
It is. Fillers can help improve the appearance of abraded fibers, but it's important to note that they don't actually repair the damage. Think of it like a cosmetic fix.
Like a little makeup for your carpet. We then have delamination, which we touched upon earlier. It's the separation of the carpet's backing layers, often caused by improper installation or solvent spotting.
Delamination can be a real headache, makes the carpet look uneven and feel unstable.
Then there's crimp loss, essentially the loss of the natural curl in carpet fibers, making it look flat and worn.
The manual also covers a series of visual challenges: pile reversal, shading, pooling, and watermarking. These all involve changes in the direction of the carpet fibers, leading to variations in light reflection, creating an uneven appearance.
So it's all about how the light interacts with the fibers. What about shedding? I've definitely seen my fair share of that.
Shedding is most common in wool carpets, especially with heavy traffic. It's basically loose fibers working their way out of the carpet.
And then there's crushing, which I imagine is common in a high traffic area.
You're right. Crushing is most noticeable in olefin carpets, where heavy traffic can lead to darkened lines, where the fibers have been flattened.
We then have filtration soiling, which sounds a bit like the carpet is acting as an air filter.
It kind of is. Filtration soiling occurs when fine particles, often carried by airflow, become embedded in the carpet pile. This can alter the carpet's color and texture, making it look dull and dingy.
And finally, we have fume fading, a mysterious-sounding issue. What exactly causes it?
Fume fading is caused by atmospheric gases and pollutants reacting with carpet dyes, leading to color loss. Think of it like the carpet slowly bleaching from the air. The manual specifically mentions carpets with BHT yellowing as being particularly susceptible to fume fading.
BHT yellowing, what is that?
BHT stands for butylated hydroxytoluene. It's an antioxidant that was commonly added to carpet dyes. But over time, and especially when exposed to certain pollutants, it can cause the carpet to yellow.
So it's like the carpet is aging prematurely. The manual wraps up the troubleshooting section by reminding us that incorrect installation can lead to a whole slew of problems, such as seam issues and dimensional instability.
It highlights the importance of working with skilled and experienced installers. A poorly installed carpet is like a house built on a shaky foundation. It's bound to have problems down the line.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for: advanced spot and stain removal.
This is where the real detective work begins. The manual kicks things off by stressing the importance of proper stain identification. You need to determine the type of stain you're dealing with to choose the right cleaning agents and methods. The manual even provides a helpful visual aid: the stain wheel.
It's like a decoder ring for stains. The stain wheel categorizes stains as either protein-based, petroleum-based, organic-based, or man-made, and suggests appropriate cleaning treatments based on the category. For example, a protein-based stain like blood would require a different approach than a petroleum-based stain like tar.
Exactly. And from there, the manual dives into the different types of cleaning agents and their applications.
Let's start with dry solvents. What are they used for, and what are the key safety precautions?
Dry solvents are the go-to solution for oily or greasy stains. They work by dissolving the substance, making it easier to blot up. The manual differentiates between volatile dry solvents, which evaporate quickly, and non-volatile dry solvents, which evaporate more slowly.
And what about safety concerns?
Always use dry solvents in well-ventilated areas, and avoid contact with skin and eyes. The manual also warns against using them on carpets with latex backings, as they can cause delamination.
Next up, we have wet solvents. What are some common examples, and how do they differ from dry solvents?
Common wet solvents include ammonia, which is great for cutting through grease, and acetic acid, also known as vinegar, which is effective for removing mineral deposits. Unlike dry solvents, wet solvents are water-based, so they don't pose the same risk of delaminating latex backings.
The manual also mentions rust removers, which often contain oxalic acid. Are there any safety concerns with those?
Oxalic acid is a powerful cleaning agent, but it can be corrosive to skin and eyes. The manual strongly recommends wearing gloves and eye protection when using rust removers.
Safety first. Then we have reducing agents, which, as the name suggests, reduce or remove color stains.
And finally, we have oxidizers, with hydrogen peroxide and sodium percarbonate being the stars of the show.
What makes them so special?
Oxidizers are excellent at breaking down organic stains, like coffee, tea, and wine. Hydrogen peroxide is readily available, but sodium percarbonate is often preferred because it's more stable and has a longer shelf life. It's essentially powdered hydrogen peroxide, making it easier to store and use.
The manual also touches upon red dye removers. Those sound like a lifesaver for those stubborn red dye stains.
Red dye stains can be incredibly challenging to remove. The manual cautions that in some cases, sectioning or patching the carpet may be the only solution.
So you've identified the stain and chosen your cleaning agent. What are the key steps for successful spot and stain removal?
First and foremost, always test for color fastness in an inconspicuous area. You want to make sure the cleaning agent won't damage or discolor the carpet fibers. Then, use a controlled amount of solution, working from the outside of the stain inward to prevent spreading. And finally, rinse thoroughly to remove any residue.
It seems like patience and precision are key here.
Absolutely. Rushing the process or using excessive force can actually worsen the stain and damage the carpet fibers.
The manual concludes with a list of essential tools for spot and stain removal. Everything from flip-top bottles and trigger sprayers to tamping brushes, scrapers, and pH measuring cups.
Having the right tools can make a world of difference in achieving professional-level results.
So, we've covered a lot of ground here. From fiber types and dyeing methods to the chemistry of cleaning and those all-important troubleshooting tips. Now, are you ready to put this knowledge to the test?
I'm ready for any carpet cleaning challenge that comes my way.
All right, it's time to put all this knowledge into action. The manual throws us right into the deep end with some real-world scenarios. First up, a home with an off-white Olefin Berber carpet. 88% Olefin, 12% nylon to be exact. The living spaces and bedrooms are in decent shape, but the kitchen, dining room, hallway, and garage are showing some serious wear and tear. What's the best cleaning strategy here?
This is a perfect example of why you need to consider both fiber type and location when choosing your cleaning method. Berber carpets, with their looped construction, can be a bit trickier to clean, and high-traffic areas like those you mentioned often need a more aggressive approach.
So what would you recommend in this case?
Given the fiber blend and the level of soiling, I'd say hot water extraction is the way to go. It's powerful enough to tackle that heavy grime, and it's the preferred method for most carpet manufacturers, so you know you're in safe territory.
Makes sense. Okay, next challenge. A newer home with a white olefin carpet has a terrible soil filtration problem along the baseboards. 3 walls, and even the edges of a flight of stairs. That sounds pretty extensive.
Filtration soiling can be a real pain. It's not just surface dirt. Those tiny particles are embedded deep within the fibers.
So what's the best course of action?
I'd recommend a 3-pronged approach. First, thorough vacuuming with a HEPA filter vacuum to remove as much loose debris as possible. Then, pre-treat those affected areas with a specialized filtration soil remover. And finally, hit it with a hot water extraction to flush out those deeply embedded particles.
It's like a deep clean detox for the carpet.
Exactly. But it's important to manage the client's expectations. Complete removal might not be possible, especially in severe cases.
Good point. Now, what if we have a similar situation? Terrible soil filtration. But this time it's a white wool carpet.
Ah, wool, our delicate friend. We need to be extra gentle here. I'd recommend a wool-safe pre-spray, specifically designed for filtration soiling, followed by a gentle hot water extraction using a neutral pH cleaning solution. Remember, wool is sensitive to high pH, so we need to keep things mild.
It's all about working with the fiber, not against it. Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the business side of things. The manual includes a scenario about an estimate visit. You arrive at a home with 4 rooms totaling 125 square feet that need cleaning. It'll take you about 2.5 hours to complete the job, with a target of $125 per hour. How much do you estimate this job will cost?
This is where knowing your numbers is essential. In this case, 2.5 hours at $125 per hour comes out to $312.50. Of course, you might adjust your pricing based on factors like the level of soiling, Any specialty treatments required, or your travel time?
It's all about finding that sweet spot between profitability and providing a fair price. Okay, here's a tricky situation that highlights the importance of communication. You land a job that was previously handled by another cleaner. The client tells you the other cleaner did the job just a week ago, but the carpet feels stiff and crunchy. What can you do to avoid this issue when you clean the carpet?
The dreaded crunchy carpet. This is usually a sign of improper rinsing or excessive cleaning solution residue. To prevent this, thorough rinsing is key. Make sure all traces of detergent are removed. You might even consider using a slightly acidic rinse agent to neutralize any remaining alkaline residues.
And I imagine explaining this process to the client can go a long way in building trust.
Absolutely. Transparency is key. Let the client know that you're taking extra steps to ensure a soft, residue-free finish.
Okay, time for a spot removal challenge. A customer has red candle wax on a cut pile nylon carpet. How can you safely remove the wax and any remaining red dye?
First things first. Carefully scrape off as much of the hardened wax as possible. Then, use a brown paper bag and a warm iron to blot up the remaining wax. The heat from the iron will melt the wax, and the paper bag will absorb it. As for that pesky red dye, a specialized red dye remover is your best bet. But as we discussed earlier, complete removal is not always guaranteed.
Fingers crossed. Next scenario. Heavy tar tracked onto a commercial carpet. The footprints extend from the entryway down a 50-foot hallway and into a large dining area. How do you tackle a mess of this magnitude while still making a profit?
This calls for a strategic approach. You'll need a powerful solvent-based cleaner specifically designed for tar removal. To work efficiently, focus on those heavily soiled areas first. A pre-spray can help loosen the tar before agitation and extraction. And consider using a walk-behind extractor rather than a portable unit. It'll save you time and energy.
It's all about maximizing efficiency. Here's one that stresses the importance of that initial inspection. You walk into a home and notice a strong pet urine odor throughout. Dinner plans are in place, so your client needs a solution fast. What's your game plan?
Pet urine is a formidable foe. It requires more than just masking the odor. You need to neutralize it at the source. Start by identifying all affected areas, using a blacklight if necessary, to reveal those invisible stains. Then apply an enzyme-based cleaner specifically formulated for pet urine.
These cleaners contain enzymes that break down the odor-causing molecules.
So it's like sending in a team of microscopic odor busters.
Exactly. Depending on the severity, multiple treatments might be needed, and thorough drying is essential. It's crucial to be upfront with the client. Explain the process and manage their expectations. Complete odor removal might not happen overnight.
Honesty and transparency are key. Okay, 2 more scenarios to go. The first involves ripples forming in a kitchen carpet during cleaning. What could be causing this? Ripples can pop up for several reasons: improper installation, excessive moisture, or shrinkage of the carpet backing. Since the ripples are appearing during cleaning, excessive moisture is the likely culprit. Make sure you're using the proper cleaning solution, dilution, and that your extraction is thorough. You don't want to ground the carpet.
And finally, a bathroom with light mold growth around the commode. What's the best approach here?
Mold is a serious issue that requires specialized knowledge and equipment. As carpet cleaners, our focus is on cleaning carpets, not remediating mold in this situation. The safest and most responsible course of action is to refer the client to a certified mold remediation specialist.
So know your limits and don't be afraid to call in the experts.
Exactly. It's all about providing the best service to the client and ensuring their safety.
Well, that concludes our deep dive into the fascinating world of carpet cleaning chemistry. We've covered everything from fiber identification and dyeing techniques to the intricacies of cleaning solutions and the art of stain removal.
It's been a journey of discovery, unraveling the mysteries of carpets and equipping you with the knowledge to become a true carpet cleaning master.
Remember, this is just the beginning. The world of carpet cleaning is constantly evolving. So never stop learning, stay curious, and always strive for excellence.
Come check us out at magicwandcompany.com.